I would have hard days, but not nearly as many as I had at Cal Strength. And as I got better, the volume, just goes up, right? The stronger you get,
Yeah.
you're the same person, but you just have more work to do.
Hmm.
And it did, it starts taking a toll. So it was something I definitely had to adapt to. I was really sore for a while, and eventually, you do enough squat volume that your legs don't get sore anymore. They just start to hurt more.
Yeah.
It's a different
So
kind of hurt.
it's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. What if you just say like, what are your top three things that you had to adjust when you got there to help recover? They can be
Um,
methods, they can be, psychological ploys for yourself. Like what top three things like, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z to be on top of
I,
this.
I had to learn how to adapt my body to like an overuse injury coming on. So if I started to feel something tighten up, I didn't know really how to take care of myself. I didn't learn any of that by myself or in football. I'd never been really taught how to do a TFL release, or that pigeon pose would release my hips a little bit, and all of a sudden my knees will feel better, or there's just like how to just learn how to take care of my body was the big thing that I really didn't have any experience with, that I learned a lot about. And it's just stretching. Just when something new hurts, you sort of investigate that, you figure out how to treat it, and then you've got one more tool in the toolbox. So that was the biggest thing that changed, because when you work out that much, you tweak some stuff, like things get worn out, and sometimes you need to dial back the work a little bit. But if you're really smart, you can get away with doing your work and just kind of treating it on the fly and staying in the fight, and you can get all your stuff done. So that was kind of a personal goal of mine, was to complete my programs. If I
Hmm.
could get through a program and not miss a lift and not hurt anything or not feel bad, like that's the goal, and that doesn't happen often. It's hard to not miss.
Right.
But that's kind of like just the way I would attack every new program is, can I get through this without missing? Can I get through this healthy?
Okay. So
Yeah.
there weren't like any more than that one piece for you then.
I mean, so as my time as I spent more time at Cal Strength, we got more things. So
Hmm.
we got a sauna in
Oh,
house. So we started using the sauna all the time, and that became almost a daily ritual to hop in the sauna at the end of the day. We had a cryo chamber that when we got really jacked up, that it wasn't at the gym, but we
okay.
knew the guy down the
Okay.
street. I said that wrong. We
That's
didn't
okay.
have one. We had a guy. But anyways,
I got
we
it.
started going to cryo some. And that was more like once you were getting pretty beat up, or if you really need to get your legs back quick. We brought in massage therapists that would work out of the gym. So then we'd have them on hand. And I'd get, if my shoulder was aching, I'd go in there, see the massage guy, and they're really good at like seeing a problem, diagnosing the problem, fixing the problem. So if my shoulder's locked up, they send me out of the massage with a full range of motion. And hey, you need to work on this part of your shoulder. Do this strengthening exercise, hit this stretch, and try to maintain this. And if it gets tight again, we'll work on it Saturday or
Yeah.
whatever. So, I did get to experience a lot of different, not just self care, but how to utilize professionals. And even Kelly Starrett and Dave are good buddies, and there was a multiple times we'd go out to Kelly's gym, and Kelly would he'd look at my movement, or he'd ask what's going on with this, and he'd give me some super genius Kelly move that obviously definitely worked
Yeah.
because he's Kelly. And be like, hey, get a leopard claw and scrape this out every night. This needs to be attended to. So,
Sure.
I mean, if I could try to write them all down and try to remember like what I picked up along the way, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I spent 6 years out there, so it was just a lot, and you're on the fly, and you're just trying to stay in the fight is really like the motivating factor, and you fix whatever comes up so you can keep going.
Right. So basically, it's a week by week, case by case. Whatever you see pop up, that's what you need to adjust. There's really no blanket, prep for this.
I mean, not really. And you can,
Okay.
you know, you might hammer down a routine. So like my last 6 weeks before competition. So we've got a 6 week, what we call realization phase, and a 2 week taper. So we want, you know, everything to be the same through that whole series. So, okay, I've got my Pilates Monday and Wednesday morning. I see my yoga lady on Saturday. I'm in the sauna after at least 4 of the 6 days, you know. I'm working on my own stuff along the way. Like, yeah, I'm doing my own like specific stretches. Maybe I'm doing some of my own graston, or I'm flossing, you know, my own little things along the way. But you schedule all your stuff in, then you don't miss it. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's Pilates this day, yoga this day, it's massage these 2 days. And, you know, it always depended on what we had at our disposal at that time. Because, you know, we wouldn't always have a massage guy, and sometimes we would, you know, so it would definitely vary, you know, but there's not really a secret sauce. Everybody's sort of different, you know, and you have to figure out what works for you, and throw shit at the wall, and eventually you're going to figure out what sticks for you.
Right. You mentioned a sauna several times. What specific carryover do you see in that for the athletic application?
I mean, we used it, right?
Uh-huh.
We get in there and you get sweaty, and
Uh-huh.
you feel loose for about an
Okay.
hour. And then by the time you get back in the gym the next day, you're still sore and achy from all the work you did.
Okay.
So,
So it's
More
basically
of a
to loosen up.
camaraderie
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Camaraderie. A lot of sweaty
right.
guys in a small box.
Sweaty
It's all about
dudes in a small
camaraderie.
wooden box.
That's exactly right.
That's
You
it.
know, well, you hear, right, all the, like, you can get online, you can Google why the sauna is good for you, right? Heat
Right.
shock proteins, whatever else.
Yeah.
I can't, unfortunately, feel my heat shock proteins getting jacked up.
No.
I can't feel my blood tests to increase or anything else. You know, I'm taking these guys on their word. I
Sure.
feel jacked up either way, so I might as well try this, and it's kind of nice too. So.
You didn't feel the growth hormone spike from 85
No,
degrees.
I didn't feel
No,
it.
dang.
You got to focus. You got to focus to feel the growth hormone spike.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, and again, like this stuff's on the internet, and you try it, and you know, at minimum, I enjoyed the time, and I broke a sweat, and it kind of made you feel good. You sleep better. So, you know, there wasn't really a downside. You know, maybe it's not a medicine. It's not doing anything crazy, but it might have done something. You know, you get little 1% here and there, and eventually it adds up to 10.
Yeah,
sure.
That's a lot.
That's the game. I mean, when you're at
That's-
that level, it's
Yeah.
all finding those. I can get 2% here and 0.5% here, because I mean,
Exactly.
when you're trying to close that performance gap at where you're at, you don't have a whole lot to do. So you're reaching for all those little things to just get a couple little minute things that maybe add up to 10% at the end of the day.
Right. And you can't feel a 0.5%, you know, you can't, a 0.5% better is not going to be something you notice.
Right.
But you just try to grab all these little pieces, and hopefully you get better. But that's something I try to explain to people. You know, for me, it basically got to the point where to get better, I have to have my best training I've ever had, and be as healthy as I've ever been, and be as technical as I've ever been. If everything doesn't come together, then I can't hit my best numbers. You know, for me to get a PR, I mean, it's hard. It takes, you know, it takes 6 perfect weeks, and maybe I can pull something out of the end of it. And really, if it's like a full lift, a snatch or clean and jerk or a back squat PR, it takes a whole season, you know, to be close to perfect. So it's just, it got a lot harder as I spent time in California.